being in two places at once, Shohei Ohtani.
Mm-hmm. What do you? Well, more than two places. Ohtani's doing one thing right now. I don't even remember that this guy pitches. We are going to begin, of course, with him before we get into the moves and extensions that we missed in our first episode back. Jake, you're not going to believe this, but the guy who led the American League in home runs last year has not forgotten how to hit home runs. I saw it with my own two eyes in live batting practice when I was in Arizona. It was actually a very, very similar sequence where he stood in the box for his first at-bat and just didn't swing and was kind of processing the information. And then he hit a ground ball. Again, he grounded to a double play in a second at bat. And then he was like, all right, I have seen all I need to see. It is now time for me to deposit a baseball over the fence. He takes a fastball. He hits it about as high. I wish we had StatCast for all spring training for a million reasons, but I would have loved to know what the launch angle was on this opposite field blast off of Dominic Leone. And it was like, yep, of course he did. And then he immediately left, because that's what you do in spring training when you're a good player and you've played your 5 innings, you leave. It's one of the best and worst parts about spring training.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. It reminds me of when an NFL player will like score a touchdown to end the half and just keep running into the tunnel. That's what you should do. Ohtani homers, rounds the bases, jogs into the dugout, picks up his bag, and runs into the clubhouse, and that's his day. One quick last thing about Ohtani. A year ago, Bryce Harper's miraculous recovery from Tommy John was a huge storyline, and it was incredible. Okay. I believe Bryce got the surgery in early mid-November.
Yeah,
if
like
I
a month
remember
later
correctly.
than Ohtani.
But a month later than Ohtani, Bryce came back in May, right? Came back in May and wasn't really himself for the first couple months of the year. Now, I know it's a little bit different because they're different people and everybody is different. Everybody is different. However, Ohtani being at this point in the timeline looking like himself already is very notable because is he going to out Bryce?
Probably. Respectfully. Now, of course, you could say, well, we don't actually know if he really did get Tommy John surgery. He got his mystery elbow surgery that we're still wondering what it was. But elbow surgery is elbow surgery. And by the way, the other thing that does not seem to be relevant at this point is at some point he's going to have to start preparing to pitch again. That does not seem to be really at all his focus right now, which is understandable. But yeah, I mean, that kind of opposite field power, of course, even he said afterwards, he's like, yeah, I thought I hit it too high. Like, I didn't think this was a real home run. Arizona, the ball's going to fly there. That's fine. But it is still a reminder that he's a showman, man. The guy knows how to deliver. And for that, we are thankful. I know people are going to get exhausted and sick of it. I know there's Giants fans that want to block the @MLB account for tweeting every time Ohtani sneezes. I get it. But look, it's not his fault. This guy is that freaking good and that freaking cool and that freaking important to our sport. And because of that, I don't mind. I don't mind seeing it as much Ohtani stuff as possible.
I think it's easy and understandable to be cynical until he swings. And then when he swings, that should go out the window. Appreciate the wonder.
I will say, though, quickly, before we move on to another Dodgers topic and start hitting these moves, my biggest takeaway from that game was Garrett Crochet is throwing 100 miles an hour again. And I know the White Sox, they posted their clip of him striking out and being like, a story in 3 parts. Boom, Crochet strikes out Ohtani. What a beast. But like, no, seriously, if Garrett Crochet is throwing 100 again, it doesn't mean the White Sox aren't going to finish in last, but that is someone I'm actually going to be excited to watch on the White Sox this year. So anyway, good for Garrett Crochet.